Hi everybody, welcome back. So we just lost power. We just got a new generator 4 days ago, so we do lose power fairly often here because we live quite far out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fire up our new generator, get that going, so that we're going to have power inside the house again. So let's get that running. Last side, we'll push our start button. So today I just got my new generator here. So this generator is going to be big enough to run the entire house. It does have a couple advantages as well. One of the biggest advantages for me, it'll run on both gasoline and propane. It'll also run on natural gas if you have the ability to hook it up to natural gas as well. So let's open up, see how hard it is to set up, and check out everything that it comes with. So initially it did have a couple of more straps on here. However, in the delivery process, a few of the straps did happen to break off. Alright, so we'll pull out this parts box. See what we have inside the parts box. Okay, so we do have a nice can of oil. We have our wheels. We have our gas spout and our propane hookup. We have our bolts for our wheels. And it looks like we have a little toolkit in here as well, along with our manual. Well, other than the generator, that does look like everything is in there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the box away just to make it easier to get the generator out. Alright, let's lift this off the box and put the wheels on. So what we're going to have is we're going to have two parts to the bottom. We're going to have this nice bracket right here, which will rest the bottom on. Then we'll have the wheels that go on the other side. So this goes on this end first, so I'm going to put this on. So for our bracket, we'll slide our bracket on. We'll put our screws coming from the top, and then we'll put our nuts on the bottom. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. Let's take a quick look in our manual because we have a little tool set in there just to see exactly what tools we have in here to help us put this together. Kind of surprised it comes with a little clip. So we have our spark plug puller, we have one metal rod, and then we have two 10 and 12 millimeter wrenches. And for these are going to be the 12 millimeters. These are probably the nicest wrenches I've ever gotten for something that you're just going to put together. And typically for wrenches that you're not buying that just come with something, they're usually really crappy wrenches. So it's nice to see that they have some wrenches that are half decent. Okay, we'll put our spark plug puller back in the bag in this metal rod. I'm not sure what that's for yet. We'll flip it over to the other side and we'll look at putting the wheels on. The side that goes in and concaves a little bit, make sure you put your bolt through that side. Otherwise your pin's not going to be long enough to fit through both holes. And then what we'll do, slide our washer on and slide our hairpin in. And I'm just going to lift this up and rotate it a little bit so I can see exactly where that hole is for the hairpin. So we got one wheel on. So we'll do the exact same thing again. Pull our hairpin out, take our washer off, slide it in. There is a note on it saying that it's not for highway use, which should be pretty self-evident. It does have a maximum weight for these wheels of 250 pounds. The generator itself is about 230. There we go. So we'll put these two wrenches back in the bag. Next thing the blueprint for the generator is going to tell us to do is to plug in our battery. So for our battery, I've already broken off the zip tie that's on it. It's pretty easy to put together. Just take your two ends, line them up, slide it in. If you ever need to disconnect it, just lift up on that little clip there and it'll pull right back out. So for our oil, it's going to take 10W30, so we'll fill that up next. Make sure you use all the oil inside the can. It is the exact amount that you need to fill the generator. All right, we're at the high level now. Okay, so I do intend to run this off of propane, even though you don't get quite as much power, just because propane never goes bad. It stays longer. You don't have to deal with stable and other things, so that's why I'm going to choose to use propane. Now, it doesn't come with a wrench that's big enough to tighten this, so I'm just going to use this right here. Give that a gentle tighten. We'll turn that to our gas option. As soon as we turn it to gas, we can see our light does turn on. So we'll turn that off and we'll go grab our propane tank. We'll open our propane. We'll turn it back to gas. So before we turn that on, we'll push that over to start. The other thing we need to do is tell it what type of fuel we're using here as well. So we'll switch that over to propane. So to turn it on, pretty straightforward. We'll grab our handle, we'll turn it to the gas side, we'll push our start button. Now, if we're starting it with the push start button, we just need to have our choke on run. Turn it on, it'll certainly start up. If we're starting it with the pull cord, we want to put it to start, give that cord a couple pulls, pull our choke about halfway over, give it another couple pulls, and it should start right up. So let's do that now. You can hear it almost kicking over. Now that we've given that first couple pulls, we'll put our choke halfway across and we'll yank it again. The other features we have is we are going to have 1450R plug on that. That'll allow you to plug an oven right into this and run an oven off of this. You can also plug that into your main power depending on how you have that set up. The other options that we have, so I'm going to use the L1430R, which is a 120 240 volt connection into my house. The other option that we have is going to be for a L530R. Now that's going to be your connection that you're typically going to use on a motorhome. The other type of plug that we can plug into here is going to be your regular standard household plug, which is going to be 120 volt, and that's going to be at 20 amps. So what we'll do, we'll plug our house into the generator. So we'll grab our power cord and then we'll plug the other end into the house. Now when you're plugging these in, there's going to be one pin that has a little bit of a bend on one end. You want to make sure that you're putting that bent prong into the right socket there. Once you have it pushed all the way in, give it a little twist. We have a little LED display. On the LED display, it does show a couple of different options. So by pressing the little gray button on the right hand side, it's going to be able to let us go through our volts, our hertz, and our hours of use. For our little green light here, that's going to indicate that the generator itself is on. When the generator's on and it's not fired up, it's going to be red. If that red light is red for more than 5 minutes, you're not going to be able to start the generator up, and you have to turn it to the off position and then turn it back on as well. The generator is also equipped with a carbon monoxide detector. Once the detector goes off, it will signal red, turn the generator off. If the carbon monoxide detector does go off, move that to a well-ventilated area to make sufficient airflow around that to get rid of that carbon monoxide. The other detector that's on the CO alert as well is if it turns yellow. Now when it turns yellow, it's going to indicate that there's a fault with the CO detector, and it's going to indicate the need for the generator to be repaired. If you're using your generator for the first time, by default it's going to be on natural gas. One of the things you want to do is turn that over from natural gas over to propane so that it is using the correct mixture for oxygen and for gas. If you're using the generator and you're using the pull start, you want to make sure you switch the choke over to the start position. Give that 1 or 2 pulls. Pull it about halfway over. Give it a couple more pulls and it should start. If it's not starting right off with those additional pulls, push it all the way to the run. It should start to run at that point. The generator is up and running. If you're not getting any power, there's a couple things that you want to take a look at. So there's a on-off switch right here. Want to make sure you have the onto the on position. There's also a fuse. So just push that little 20 amp. That'll reset the 20 amp breaker. There's also a large breaker here as well. So for the large breaker, that'll be your main power on and off. Just give that a push up if it's in the down position, and that'll reset your breaker for you. If when you go to start the generator, it's not starting at all, where you want to look is going to be at our connector right here. Make sure that is connected up. Otherwise, if your battery is allowing it to crank over, you might not have enough power to start the generator, in which case you're going to have to use the pull cord to start the generator. If it's been more than about 30 days since you've last used a generator, what you want to do is turn that generator on. The manual says for about 30 minutes, but after about 10 to 15 minutes it'll be fine. All you're trying to do here is make sure that your battery is continually topped up so you don't have any problem starting that up. Another really important maintenance thing that we're going to have to do is after we've run the generator for the first 4 hours, we need to change that oil. The reason we need to change that oil so quickly is because if there's any loose metal inside of that, any metal debris from making the generator itself, that's going to get cleaned out into that oil. That way you're not running those metal shards inside the generator. To do that, all you're going to do is remove the screw right here and take your cover off. That'll empty the entire thing. If you're not able to turn your generator once you put the oil back in, make sure you put a full 32 ounces into the generator. For my generator, the rubber seal on the oil cap is a little bit damaged, and I found the threads were a little bit misaligned and not properly screwing in. So one of the very first things is I filled out the warranty card online and I sent that in. At the same time, I also sent them an email letting them know that I did have an issue with the oil cap. So what they're going to do is right away, they said within about an hour or so, they sent me an email back saying absolutely that they were going to warranty it and that they'll be sending me a new one. So my experience with their customer support so far has been extremely, extremely well, and I'm very happy with this generator and how well it runs so far. Last year we had new heat pumps installed. When we installed our new heat pumps, we also updated our panel. So we'll open our panel up here. So what I have here is a panel and a switching station all built into one. The top part of the panel only works when we're on grid power. The bottom part of the panel runs everything off the generator, which will run both everything off our house except for our heat pumps and our oven. Now the other thing that we have in here is I have a surge protector. What that surge protector is going to do, we have a surge that's going to protect everything in our house. That's going to include things like our oven, our fridge, anything that has electrical power going into it. If you have computers and things like that, you should still have a surge protector on those as well. So to switch from grid power to the generator, it's pretty straightforward. We turn our power off. We're going to rotate the little wheel here to the other side, and then we're going to pull the breaker over. That's going to put the other half of our house onto our generator. To switch it back, it's going to be the exact reverse process. So we'll flick the power off, rotate our wheel over 180 degrees, and then turn our grid power breaker. And then we're back on grid power once power comes back on.